Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I am covering the very first episode of Paramount Plus's Halo TV series. Before I dive into any of the details, this is going to be a spoiler review, but it's not going to be a breakdown detail by detail. I will make a separate video breaking down the different scenes and explaining what I did and did not like about each scene. But this one, I just wanted to give you guys a quick little spoiler review, kind of my initial thoughts and how I processed all the information after our first watch through, and not my second watch through, which I have done 2 watch throughs, but just kind of how I was feeling after my first watch through. So, starting out, we get introduced to a new planet that I don't think I've ever seen in any of the games, comics, or novels that I've read. Cool, interesting, wonderful. Introduced to the characters. I didn't really like the dialogue too much with them. It was kind of a little but could have been better. We fast forward into how the Covenant, and they don't really waste any time. They don't really waste any time at all. They kind of jump right into the action. The Covenant are right there excavating on that planet, probably looking for what I imagine are artifacts leading them to Halo. They kill a group of kids, one of them which has the one of our main characters in it. All her friends get wiped out by the Covenant while they're high on drugs. She sends a warning to the camp. The camp tries to get ready to fight, but you know, the Covenant are just overwhelming forces, man, and they just show the brutality within this. The next sequence with the big action sequence between the insurrectionists and the elites, because there are no grunts, no brutes, no jackals, no drones. Bunch of elites, they come through, they charge, and you know, overall, I like the CGI with this action scene. I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. I thought it was wonderful. And then we get introduced to Master Chief and the Silver Team. God, I absolutely hate that name. I despise that name so much. Like, the director came out and said that nobody bothered to play the games. I don't think any of them read the books or comics or any of that because they didn't want to be cuffed or constrained, whatever terminology you want to use. They didn't want to be stuck to that. So they came up with a totally different timeline. It's not canon, and they decided to call Master Chief Spartan Team Silver Team. And I have no idea why they did that. Anyways, they come down. They fight all the elites. They obviously defeat them, beat them. None of the insurrectionists survived, except for our main antagonist girl, or side antagonist, I'll call her, Quan. She survived, and the Master Chief tries to bring her back to UNSC command on Reach. And in the process of that, the UNSC tries to work out a deal with her, and she does not like it. She is very spiteful to UNSC because the Master Chief is responsible for killing her mother. So she decides that if the UNSC wants to broadcast her image across the galaxy to try and convince the insurrectionists to team up with the UNSC to fight the Covenant, that she will indeed do the opposite and tell them that the UNSC is evil and that they should not team up with them. Then, of course, they activate Article 66. Article 72, which I guess is some kind of article where extreme measures are to be taken against insurrectionists to where they need to die. The Master Chief is the one given the order, and he decides to go against it, which is totally out of character for the Master Chief at this point in time, because the Covenant are still so new. Based on the timeline and where this series starts out, the Covenant are still so new, so the Master Chief would not be disobeying orders like this at all. Don't like that at all. Don't like the continuity of that at all. Granted, they set it up with the artifact when when Blue Team, I'm sorry, there I go, calling them Blue Team, when it's Silver Team. They go excavating into the cave that the Covenant were exploring on the new planet that the insurrectionists were hiding on. The Master Chief touched an artifact, and it kind of made him a little haywire, seeing some memories from what he doesn't realize is his past as a child. He doesn't realize because he's been brainwashed. He has no idea he was kidnapped and brainwashed, manipulated into becoming this killing machine for the military. So he doesn't know this stuff, and he is seeing all these memories and flashbacks, and he thinks they're visions of somebody else. So he's confused right now. But he's starting to question things, and he's starting to go off protocol. So it was set up, but not a fan of it. Not a fan of the dialogue with Catherine Halsey and the little beef they tried to set up with the Admiral. I can't even remember what her name is right now. The Admiral. She is actually a character within the novels and the comics and the books. She is set up, and their beef is real, but it was just so poorly done with this. I just, what do you do? What do you say? I mean, when they really, like, I hate to harp back on it, but when they say they did not read the books, novels, play the games, read the comics, they did nothing. And they're totally just going in a far beyond direction. And then we get into probably my most hated part of this episode. This was one of the things I talked about I did not like in my my video I made about Halo before it dropped, before the Halo TV series dropped. Why do we have an antagonist human that is working with the Covenant? It makes sense in a way that because the Covenant need the humans in order to access Forerunner structures and artifacts, because the humans are the direct descendants of the Covenant, or the Forerunners. But the Covenant hated humans. They did not want the humans in their ranks. They terminated humans on sight. It was beef on sight immediately. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was on sight. The Covenant shot and killed every single human being they came across. It doesn't make sense. I think it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Need to cut this character. Not going to happen, obviously, but it should have never been invented. I'm not sure who in the hell in the writer's room thought this was a good idea, but they need to be fired. Not saying they don't deserve a chance to write on other shows and do storytelling for other shows, but Halo is not for these people that just want to free wild and do whatever the hell they want. This is not a property to where you should be doing these things. The Master Chief Master Chief is given orders to execute Quan. Does not want to follow it, does not believe in it. And they told us that they were going to review the Master Chief's face. Boy, they didn't waste a single second. Man, he took that helmet off by the third act of this episode. The first episode, ladies and gentlemen, the Master Chief takes off his helmet. Now, granted, I was one of the people that kind of really didn't care to ever see the Master Chief's face. Kind of leave it up for people to imagine what he looks like. Because obviously we all know at this point in time after Halo 4 that he's a white guy. But we were left up with the imagining of the details of his face. And however, it's just not what we got. I'm very disappointed. Pretty much the only thing I really liked in this episode was the action with Silver Team. Almost called him Blue Team again. Silver Team and the elites on that insurrectionist planet, and when the UNSC military came out to set up and get ready for combat to potentially arrest the Master Chief for his direct defiance of the kill order. They were to kill the insurrectionist girl and then capture the Master Chief, place him under arrest, and that whole sequence was great. But only two things I really liked about this episode. Not a very strong start for this, so I don't really know what else to say. It just wasn't really good. I just, outside that, you can tell where they spent the money for the episode and where they tried to get away, which, I mean, some TV shows can get away with cheap scenes of dialogue and just character building with different characters, just communicating, talking, having a scene, one-on-one, two-on-two, whatever it may be, together. But the dialogue within this, just not good. Not good at all. Didn't feel like the Master Chief was really the Master Chief, and this is no discredit to the actor playing him. He just got to go based off what he's given in the script, and didn't feel good at all. So, all right, guys. That is my quick spoiler review of Halo TV series presented to you by Paramount Plus. First episode titled Contact. That is going to be my quick spoiler review. I will come back with a longer breakdown of individual scenes and go detail by detail over the dialogue for you guys here in a few days after this video launches. All right? Everybody have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next video.